The five on Fox News are going to talk about the attack strategy of the Democrats and the Republicans, and they're going to come to the least accurate conclusion of all time.
Okay, so Major Garrett of CBS News wrote that about a strategy called stray voltage. This is something David Plouffe had talked about in the previous campaign, and it goes something like this. Controversy sparks attention, attention provokes conversation, and then the conversation embeds previously unknown or marginalized ideas in the public consciousness. We've been following this campaign's been heating up for about the last 6 months, and Greg, every time we look up, we can see that there are more smears, and then the smears then sort of become what we end up arguing about with Bob.
Right.
And do Republicans just not have the ability to do the same type of thing in reverse?
Well, it's clever. The level of, like, say, race baiting hyperbole is inversely proportional to their amount of facts. So without a leg to stand on, the first thing you do, that's your choice of weapon, is to call people names. And it's genius, because when a conservative or a libertarian gets angry for being called a racist or a bigot, that then becomes proof that you are a racist or a bigot because you're reacting so angrily. That's their strategy. Accusations of bigotry are their aspirin. Whenever they get a headache, that's what they take. And I would call it a race card, but that implies there are other cards available for them. It's a race deck.
And that is one of the things that some of the reporters were writing about, including John Dickerson over at Slate, who says facts schmacks. As long as people are talking about an issue where my party has an advantage with voters, it's good. So then you get to, Eric, what I would guess is a zero-sum game.
Race card, race deck, but somewhere in there's like four cards, like the Joker, and they're women. So Republicans have a war women as well. I'm sorry, Dan.
Okay.
I was just thinking about your question.
Are you calling women a joke?
No, I'm not. No, I'm saying in the deck of race cards, they slide the women issue in.
Right, and so I was just going to say, what John Dickerson said in his piece was, does it mean then forget about the facts, as long as my party wins, then it's good. So you end up with a zero-sum game, and you don't actually achieve anything.
And again, it solves their issue. The more we can make the shiny object over here talk about, what are you laughing about? This is the strategy.
I'm just trying to sit here putting Democrats in a bad corner. You're getting Republicans as if these are the bright, shining people on the hill. These dogs have been running negative crap for years. I've been out there. I've been out there. I've been in the front lines of getting this crap for Republicans.
You designed this strategy.
Being called socialist, communist. Greg loves to show the word socialist around. Now, you say race, I say, and now I'm going to attack to be as a socialist or a communist.
Bob, where are your attack ads to show?
I can't get them because you know why? I asked for some attack ads. I'm about to give you some, but I have to give them verbally because our producers won't put on the Republicans.
You are 100% right. Every time, there have been 20 or 30 occasions where I'd say President Obama's policies are just like a socialist. He might be a socialist president. I have. But you know what? I'm right.
Yeah, Obama's a socialist, which is why he cut the deficit, which is why he cut about 700,000 government jobs. And by the way, that's the figure as of last year. There's been even more cuts since last year, so it's certainly above that now. This is the guy who grew the private sector by 8.9 million jobs and counting. That number is trending upwards and continuing to do so. This is the guy who brought the stock market back from the brink of collapse. Now it's at an all-time high. I mean, this guy, you're saying this guy is a socialist. If he's a socialist, he's the worst one ever. How about the issue of health care? No single payer. There's no Medicare for all. That would be the socialist idea. He didn't do that. He did your idea. He did the individual mandate system. The Republican idea that was Richard Nixon first proposed, and then the Heritage Foundation codified it in the 1990s, and then Newt Gingrich and Chuck Grassley and all the Republicans supported it. Bob Dole supported it. Please, if he's a socialist, he's the worst one ever. But look at really, this is what we're arguing, that we're having a discussion about which party smears more and attacks more. Oh my God, I want to have that debate and that discussion all day long with these guys. Are you kidding me? The right wing, they are well known for doing their smear tactics. The fucking Koch brothers just got in trouble for running ads within the last month where they had people saying that I'm going to die because of Obamacare. They resurrected the fucking death panels lie. The death panels lie in and of itself. That's the most ridiculous smear tactic ever. That, oh yeah, you want to vote for their healthcare plan? Fine, but just know that they're going to fucking pull the plug on your grandma and kill her. Oh, that's not a smear tactic? please spare me. And we can go on and on, too. I mean, how about the John Kerry Swift voters? Remember that? That was when, in 2004, when they took John Kerry, who won, I think it was the Medal of Honor. He won some sort of medal from the Army about how he saved his fellow soldiers from getting shot in Vietnam. And what they did on the right, and what Karl Rove did, their strategy is always turn our opponent's strength into a weakness. So they muck up this fake campaign where they tried to say that, sure, some say he's a war hero, but we have these other people who say he's actually a coward that was murdering innocent people. Wow, man, that's not a smear tactic? Take a war hero and turn him into somebody who's killing innocent people and doing the wrong thing? You can't get a bigger smear tactic than that. The smear tactics originated with the right wing in the Willie Horton ad with George H.W. Bush. This is the fucking political party that when George W. Bush was running against John McCain, they did this thing called push polling. You know what that is? You call voters in the states where you're having the primaries, and you say, would you be more likely or less likely to vote for John McCain if you learned that he fathered an illegitimate black child? Now, he didn't do that, but doesn't matter. All you have to do is plant the seed in their head. So the people go, I don't know. And then they hang up the phone and they go, did John fucking McCain father an illegitimate black child? I'm voting for Bush. I'm not voting for McCain. You know how the right-wing voters are. This is the party that does those things. And they're going to say that the left does more smear tactics? What a massive joke, man. And then also to Gutfeld's point and Bowling's point, well, yeah, the left always talks about racism and sexism because they don't want to talk about facts. No, they talk about racism and sexism because there are facts on those issues that say that your side is racist and sexist. So, for example, how about when you voted against the Violence Against Women Act because you didn't want the provisions to extend to Native American families and to LGBT families? I'm serious. The idea was, well, yeah, we have this domestic abuse hotline that protects women if they're about to get like killed and beat up by their significant others, but we don't want it to extend to Native Americans and people in the LGBT community. So they voted against the Violence Against Women Act. Yeah, I think that's sexist. How about when they voted against the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act, which extended the statute of limitations so that if a woman learns that she's getting paid less for the same work as her male counterpart, 10 years later, for example, they could still go, oh, okay, well, it's from when you learned about your pay discrepancy that it kicks the clock starts running, not from when the pay actually started. They voted against that. How about the fucking Paycheck Fairness Act that you filibustered like 2 or 3 times? The fucking Paycheck Fairness Act, which makes it easier to have pay transparency so that, females can learn, oh my God, look, I'm getting discriminated against. Now I'm going to take action. It requires that business owners explain why the discrepancy is there. They voted against that. They filibustered that. And then you're going to say, oh, well, what are you talking about? The Republicans aren't sexist. But the policies say you are, dippity. That's why we say it. The Democrats are pointing at the facts. Or how about, oh yeah, the right wing's not racist. The Republicans aren't racist. Which is why they embraced the Southern strategy. You know what that is? That's the strategy that they implemented after Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act, where they said, oh, I have an idea. All those racist white voters in the South who feel disenfranchised because the Democrats decided not to be fucking racist anymore, well, let's us Republicans swoop in and get their vote and win elections by having old white people vote for us. And they did that consistently up until 2012. Now they're finally learning, okay, well, we're not going to win like this. So we'll see if they do it for the next election. But every election since then, they've done the Southern strategy. And they're open about that, too. They've admitted, like, yeah, that's what we did. We're appealing to, non-minority communities. That's how we're trying to win elections.